Congressman, looking at the sanctions that are imposed here, the criticism of these sanctions is that the president said these would be the harshest sanctions that we have essentially ever seen on another country. And yet that's not necessarily what we're seeing. We're seeing them significant, as we heard in Edward's piece. They're significant, but not the kind of sanctions that are going to make Vladimir Putin stop, correct?
That's absolutely right. I mean, we could be doing so much more right now. Apparently, the Biden administration just agreed to sanction Putin himself, and that was only because the European allies wanted to do that. Other European countries wanted to do that. Apparently, there was pushback from John Kerry initially because it was going to interfere with a couple of his pet projects, which were climate change and the JCPOA, which he feels like he needs Russia to help with. So, I think that we could have done so much more on this. We could sanction the Russian central bank. We could sanction the SWIFT banking system. We could go, now we're going to go after Putin. But we could have done so much more. We could have done this earlier on. It's kind of too late right now. I mean, Brett was making a good point. I think Kiev's essentially surrounded right now. And I think tonight will be the night that the Russians roll into Kyiv.
I think you're right. And I also would add on the note of sanctions that if President Biden were in a stronger energy position here at home, had he not made any of these policy changes that he has made, he would be able to actually sanction the oil companies in Russia directly and say, we're not buying any of your oil, but we don't have other sources for it. So I just want to, make that point clear to what you're saying, and also transition to this, because you're making the point that Kyiv could fall potentially tonight. We had reports out of Kyiv today, and we had a parliament member updating us on the status. And I just want people to listen to this so they can understand what the tenor is on the ground.
People are wanting to go voluntarily to the army. Also, people are receiving weapons. Just in Kyiv, just in one day, almost 20,000 automatic rifles were given to those who are ready to defend their houses and our capital. It's just one city. So we have a very high moral. We will fight and we believe in our victory, especially if our partners will help us.
And Brett, of course, the morale is high. We knew that the natives on the ground want to fight. They don't want Russian forces coming in and taking the capital. At the same time, you've seen, as the invasion has intensified, if you will, people fleeing, trying to get out of the capital, trying to get out of the country, going down underground into the bomb shelters, and essentially preparing for the worst is what it looks like.
Yeah, though I have to say, President Zelensky is a modern-day Winston Churchill. I mean, the amount of leadership and courage that he has provided under very dangerous, trying circumstances is really inspirational. And in some ways, he is pushing the NATO alliance. He is pushing President Biden to do more. And he's certainly stiffening the spine, the resolve of his people. And I think that is incredibly admirable. Now, we need to stand up. We need to come to their defense. There were just reports because of the slow pace of the Russian invasion that they are thinking about deploying some of the other more deadly weapons that they have. And we have to be careful about a serious scenario here. And I think it underlines the importance of providing more air defenses to the Ukrainians.
Right. Resources. We've said at this moment we're not going to put boots on the ground, but we could give them resources, help them defend themselves better. Congressman, I want to ask you about some of these reports that have come out today with respect to how Putin's acting here, people's interactions with him on the ground there, essentially saying that he's not the same leader that he was, even recent time ago, that his actions, his aggression, it almost seems like he's suffering from some sort of illness or just that he's not himself. Do you give any credence to those reports, or do you think that this is a Vladimir Putin who was very strategic, watched this situation unfold, watched, essentially change of regime here in the United States and said, now is the time to pounce?
100%. I think that he's taken advantage of a really weak situation in the United States right now. This is an opportunity, a window of opportunity for him, and we'll see that the Chinese will see this as a window of opportunity. So will the Iranians. I also think that he's a very motivated, demented, he's somewhat crazy individual.
Right.
And I think that he's thought for a long time. He wants his legacy to be that he brings the Soviet Union back together, the greatness of the Soviet Union. He wants that to be his legacy. He's getting older. He's running out of time, and he's he's got this unique window of opportunity during the Biden administration where he senses weakness, and he's going to take advantage of it.